truth is out there, and it's way stranger than science fiction. From mysterious signals to unexplained structures, we are counting down the top 5 reasons why aliens might be a little closer than you think. Starting off today, we are heading over to K2-18b. Imagine a mega powerful eye in the sky, one so sharp that it can spot the chemicals in the atmosphere of a planet hundreds of light years away. That is the James Webb Space Telescope for you, and it's on one of its craziest missions yet. It is gearing up to check out a distant planet, K2-18b, which is circling a red dwarf star 124 light years from Earth. K2-18b isn't your typical rocky neighbor, it's thought to be an enormous ocean world, 2.6 times the size of Earth, and it's got scientists buzzing about the prospects of alien life. Why? Because this planet might have the right cocktail of chemicals to support life, much like Earth does. The star of the show is a gas called dimethyl sulfide, or DMS. On our blue planet, DMS is the signature scent of the sea, mainly churned out by tiny ocean dwellers called phytoplankton. We don't know any natural way to make DMS without life being involved, so finding DMS on K2-18b could be a game changer, a potential hint that we are not alone in this vast universe. The folks at NASA and Dr. Niku Madhusudan from Cambridge have been keeping an eye on this, and the latest scoop from the James Webb Space Telescope suggests there's a better than ever chance that DMS is present in the planet's atmosphere. But hold your horses, it's not time to throw an alien welcome party just yet. The James Webb Space Telescope will spend 8 solid hours staring at K2-18b, trying to capture more data. After that, it's going to take a few months of head scratching and number crunching before scientists can say for sure what's up with the DMS. And while the idea of hopping on a spaceship and visiting this watery world sounds like a blast, we're not packing our bags just yet. At the speed of our fastest spacecrafts like the Voyager, it would take over 2 million years just to get there. So for now, we just have to rely on the James Webb Space Telescope's incredible ability to analyze light that has passed through the planet's atmosphere, giving us clues about what gases are present. This upcoming observation isn't just about DMS though. Scientists are also on the hunt for other gases like methane and carbon dioxide, which have their own tales to tell about the possibility of life and the planet's climate. So here we are, waiting to see if K2-18b might just be one of our first real leads in the cosmic search for company. Stay tuned, because the results from this space detective story could redefine our place in the universe. Could you imagine? Like, that will just happen one day where they're like, we found it, definitively, what are we gonna do then? It's, you know, you always wonder, but you never really expect it to happen, so I don't know. Little food for thought. Alright, next up we are talking about the Viking Raid. Alright, a little different than what you might be thinking of. There is a scientist out there that has come up with quite a shocking proposition that might have major implications. According to his theory, it's possible NASA might have already found aliens and killed them. Imagine it's the summer of 1976. NASA's Viking landers have just made a grand entrance on Mars, ready to poke around and see if they've got any Martian neighbors. They start running a series of complex experiments to catch any signs of life. These Viking machines were pretty decked out with science gear. They had tools to analyze Martian soil, looking for organic compounds, basically just the chemical fingerprints of life. But the results that they got back were a mixed bag. Some tests hinted that something was alive and kicking, showing changes in gas levels that suggested microbial metabolism. Other tests, however, found nothing but a dead end. Fast forward to today, and along comes Dirk Schulze-Mackich, an astrobiologist with a fresh take on this old puzzle. He's got this idea that maybe, just maybe, NASA did find Martian life all those years ago ago, but accidentally killed it during their tests. According to him, these Martian life forms could have been like the toughest little microbes we find in Earth's driest deserts, real survivors that can handle extreme conditions. Dirk's theory hinges on the idea that adding water to the Martian soil was a bit like throwing a surprise pool party in a desert. Good intentions, but potentially disastrous for the locals. On Earth, for instance, when heavy rain hits the ultra-dry Atacama Desert, a lot of the resident microbes just can't handle the sudden deluge and end up dying as a result. Similarly, he suggests that the Viking landers might have overwhelmed Martian microbes adapted to super dry conditions. This idea is as intriguing as it is controversial. Other scientists like Chris McKay from NASA think the idea is stretching it. They point to later discoveries of perchlorate on Mars, a chemical that could explain the odd gas readings from the Viking experiments without needing to invoke accidental microbial massacre. Despite the skepticism, Dirk's perspective has reignited a fascinating discussion. Was it a case of scientific overkill, or are we just seeing Martian chemistry at play? The debate shows just how tricky and puzzling space exploration can be. Mars keeps its secrets close, and every new theory adds more pieces to the puzzle. As we continue to send rovers and eventually humans to Mars, we are still trying to piece together the story of life on Mars, if it's there at all. Next, we are heading over to the clouds of Venus. Let's take it back to 2020, and astronomers are using powerful telescopes to turn their gaze towards Venus, our closest planetary neighbor after Mars. Known for its scorching surface and thick, toxic atmosphere, Venus isn't exactly the vacation spot of the solar system. But then, something in the clouds catches the scientists' attention: phosphine. On Earth, phosphine is a gas that's mostly made by microbes that don't need oxygen to live, like those hanging out in swamps or deep inside landfills, not the best smelling places. Finding phosphine on Earth usually means life is bustling. So naturally, when astronomers found phosphine in Venus's atmosphere, it was like hitting the cosmic jackpot. Everyone was buzzing about the idea that maybe, just maybe, Venus wasn't so dead after all. The excitement was real. Imagine a cloud city of aliens floating around on Venus. Okay, maybe not quite like that, but any hint of life is a big deal. Scientists were intrigued because finding a life-linked gas in an alien atmosphere was like finding a neon sign pointing to potential life. However, of course, the plot thickened. As more scientists jumped in to analyze the findings, some began to question the initial detection of phosphine. Was the signal strong enough? Was it really phosphine, or could it have been a case of mistaken cosmic identity? The debate got pretty heated. Some suggest that volcanic activity or lightning could make phosphine on Venus without any biological help. Venus does have a lot of volcanic action and a bunch of zappy weather, so it's definitely plausible. Further studies even flipped back and forth. Some said yes, it's definitely there, while others said hold on, not so fast. It was like a game of red light, green light, and here comes another interesting update. At the 2023 National Astronomy meeting of the Royal Astronomical Society in Cardiff, say that 10 times fast, like
National Astronomy meeting of the Royal Astronomical Society.
That sounds like a cult. At the 2023 National Astronomy meeting of the Royal Astronomical Society in Cardiff, scientist Jane Greaves shared exciting news about finding phosphine even deeper in Venus's atmosphere than previously detected. Utilizing the James Clerk Maxwell telescope at the Mauna Kea Observatory in Hawaii, Greaves and her team explored further into Venus's atmosphere, reaching down to the upper and middle layers of the planet's clouds. So here we are now, with the mystery still hanging in those thick, acidic clouds of Venus. The phosphine saga is a classic case of how tricky and thrilling space science can be. Each new discovery leads to more questions, and every answer pulls us deeper into this cosmic detective story. And who knows, maybe Venus has a few life secrets up its cloudy sleeves, or maybe it's just really good at fooling us Earthlings. Either way, the hunt for alien life goes on, one, and Venus is still in the game. Next up, we are talking about Ganymede's shield. So first off, before we do anything, we have to talk about how Ganymede is huge. It's not just the biggest moon orbiting Jupiter, it's the largest moon in the whole solar system. Imagine a moon so big that if it were orbiting the sun instead of Jupiter, we'd probably call it a planet. Ganymede has its own magnetic field. While most moons are just chunks of rock or ice floating in space, Ganymede is out there with its own magnetic shield. This is very unusual for a moon and very cool because that magnetic field is key to keeping the moon's atmosphere from being stripped away by Jupiter's very powerful radiation belts. But the plot thickens. Thanks to the trusty Hubble Space Telescope, astronomers have spotted signs that beneath Ganymede's icy shell, there lies a vast ocean of salt water. We're talking about a subsurface ocean that might be hiding more water than all of Earth's oceans combined. So why is this exciting? Well, on Earth, wherever you find water, you usually find life. The idea that there's this massive hidden ocean out there wrapped in a thick layer of ice means that Ganymede could be a secret hideout for alien life forms. And thanks to its magnetic field, any potential organisms would be somewhat protected from cosmic radiation, which can be a real menace for life as we know it. The combination of a magnetic field and an ocean makes Ganymede a bit like Earth's deep sea environments, places where life thrives far away from sunlight, cozy and protected under layers of water and ice. Scientists think that if life could pop up in the extreme conditions of Earth's ocean depths, why not in the alien oceans of Ganymede? Exploring this moon's hidden ocean could tell us heaps about the possibilities for life in the cosmos. Maybe this giant moon isn't just floating out there in the shadow of Jupiter. It could be a dark horse in the search for extraterrestrial life. So no, Ganymede isn't just another moon. It's a potential underwater world waiting to be discovered, and who knows what secrets lie beneath its icy facade. And finally, to close out our list today, we are talking about Asteroid Matter. NASA has finally gotten its mitts on some genuine asteroid dust thanks to its spacecraft OSIRIS-REx. Meanwhile, over in Japan, playing with space rocks isn't exactly new. Japan's space agency JAXA has been at this game for about 2 decades. This mission scooped up samples from asteroid Itokawa back in 2010 despite nearly missing its shot. Fast forward to now, and JAXA's sequel mission has been a smoother ride, bringing home a cool 5.4 grams of asteroid goodies from a space rock called Ryugu in 2020. So what's the big deal about some space dust? Well, it isn't just any dust, it's like finding the building blocks of life. Scientists have found amino acids and uracil, a component of RNA, in these samples. These discoveries are like confirming there's a recipe for life hitching rides on asteroids. Adding to the excitement, a recent study from Tohoku University in Japan brought more good news. They've been studying Ryugu's surface and found these tiny, glassy melt splashes created when micrometeoroids smashed into the asteroid. These splashes are not just glass, they're like a micro museum of what happens when cosmic materials meet and mix. The coolest part is that these splashes contain primitive organic material, kind of like the premix for life's batter, but it's just missing a few ingredients like nitrogen and oxygen. It's as if these tiny particles are showing us how life's building blocks might have been delivered from the far reaches of space right to our doorstep, or rather to early Earth. While NASA is just starting to peek inside its sample container from asteroid Bennu, they're expecting to find similar treasures. It is absolutely mind-blowing to think that the seeds of life on Earth might have just come straight from outer space. Scientists are now armed with both the rocks and the tech to explore this ancient idea, turning age-old speculation into very real science. Who knew that something as small as asteroid dust could tell us such big stories about our origins? Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Bye!